go live. Please tell me this works, because Lord have waited an extra 30 minutes just to get this done. We're here. Thank Christ.
Let's go.
Chat, let me know if the audio is okay. I've been fighting for my life for the last weekend, and now with the audio.
Yes.
But we are finally here on this momentous occasion. One Piece is Real, Volume 5. We're at the 5th episode. This is an anniversary. And today, here with me, I have a very special guest. It's not our first collab, but it's our first official stream discussion collab, which is, it's taken a while. I'm very surprised it's taken us this long, to be honest with you. But we're finally here to talk about Jaya, dreams, and ambition. But before we get into anything, Recon, say hello to the family. Welcome to the family. What's good? How are you feeling? What's going on, man?
First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, St. J. Garcia Saturn sent me a personal invite to attain this Godo Series. I was like, okay, I have to go. No matter, I was sick. See, the planet attempted to stop this. You know how the WG always tries to stop things.
They tried. They tried.
I got sick. Jay got sick. But we are here today to talk about the best-selling manga in history, and a particular section that I absolutely adore, and there's no other person that I'd rather be doing this with than my good brother JD. So it's gonna be a good time, and nothing but love to the family here, because I know y'all treat my brother right, and it's a good time to be in, not only in the One Piece community, but to be a part of our side of the community, which is just the best overall experience. And so I appreciate y'all for being here, and let's have a good time, brother. Let's have a good time.
Couldn't have said it better myself, man. And you know, just to kick things off in general, you know, I want to get your thoughts on, I know you've been enjoying, loving Egghead right now, and obviously the big reveal, we found out Amagoro say, you know, now I used to be JD Fraud, now it's no longer JD Fraud, now it's Saint J. Right. Everyone calls me Saint J now. It's about time they put respect on my name. I'm about to change my whole moniker from the Don, the Godfather, the future Hall of Famer, to the Saint, the Father, the Gorosei. That's it, bro.
That's heat. That's heat.
That's heat, bro. It's the Saint. That's it. And the best part is, I'm a Christian, so I can really say it. I'm like, wow, I'm sanctified. So it's different now. It's different.
That's facts. It's the same thing for me. So I tell you, it's a factual statement.
You see what I'm saying? So it hits harder for me, you know. Yeah. But you know, what are you feeling? What's your excitement going on with, now that we got the Gorosei moving around? There's a lot of things coming now. Oda's like, all right, it's time. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm throwing the Gorosei's name out. We're here now,
dude. I can't believe we're in a point in time in One Piece where we're seeing, like, in back-to-back chapters, mind you, we're getting Law. We cut over to Law and Blackbeard. We get to find out that we're actually from at some point in time in the past, there was an ancient civilization that was actually futuristic. We're actually figuring out stuff about Vegapunk as an individual, stuff we've been wanting to see for years, mind you. And even that is, like, at this point in time, kind of taking a step back to all the stuff that's happening around it. We have the Kuma potential flashback incoming with Bonnie and Vegapunk in a virtual reality instead of Kuma's memories, and what's happening with Stussy and that insanity there, and around the world stuff is popping off. It's like every single chapter of Egghead not only reminds us why the weekly experience is so special, but when you get a chapter like the most recent one with St. J. Garcia Saturn, it reminds you what this series is so good at, which is long-term payoff. I think someone who is not that big of a fan would look at that chapter and be like, yeah, you know what, this was a solid chapter. But for us, that we've been waiting so many years to get anything for the Gorosei members, you know what I mean? Anything for one of these characters, and for his name to have fueled as many theories as it has in the past 2 weeks, I think that's the real great part about Egghead Island. It's like, it's not only a theory fest, but even for people who do not like theories, it's just been an enjoying read, an entertaining read every single week, and it's been a blast.
It's like a new, fresh joy for theorists. I feel like theorists in the One Piece community needed something fresh because we've all had a lot of overlying theories, all about the same type of theories. But now that you get the Gorosei's name, you get the planetary, what's the word I'm looking for? Tag basically to the Gorosei. Now you can assume, you got Venus, Saturn, how many Goroseis are there. You're getting more mythology into it as well, because it can't just be planets. It could be Roman mythology. So do you know what I'm saying?
Which is really cool. Yeah, it's really cool, especially when you think about heading into Elbaf, and we assume we're going to be getting the Greek side of things. So it's like Oda's going to be able to play with the Greek side and the Roman side now, and with mythology. That should be pretty cool.
Because they're saying now, and did you mean Greek or Norse?
Oh, my bad, Norse. That's what I meant, Norse. Yeah, because it was a slip of mine.
Oh, no, I'm with you 100%. Because we're going to get the Greek side, don't we? Yeah, we have Zeus and Prometheus and everything as well.
Correct.
And then a lot of people are assuming that the red line is actually Jormungandr. If you play God of War, you know what Jormungandr is. You know what I mean? The giant snake.
Yes.
That would make a lot of sense to me if the red line is Jormungandr. I think King of Lightning actually just came out with a video talking about Asgard, Midgard, Jormungandr, stuff like that. So now that we're in the whole mythology realm of things, Emu being I think Threevil had a theory about Emu being Gaia. I think it is Gaia, which is Greek.
Yeah.
So going back to that again, it seems like Oda is just taking mythology from all kinds of cultures. Nika being out of African mythology. Yeah. If we're getting into mythology piece, sign me up. I'm not kidding. As a Percy Jackson lover, when I grew up reading the Lightning Thief, bro. I read the Lightning Thief as a kid. I said, I never liked reading books, Recon. I read Lightning Thief so quickly, bro. I said, there's no way. I finished that series quickly, son.
That is that gas, man. I hope that one day there is like a faithful television adaptation to those books, because they are amazing. They are so good,
bro. They have to do it right. Like it's not even childhood anymore. As an adult, I still identify with the Percy Jackson books. I need them to deliver. We're praying they do, but son, Lightning Thief, Titan's Curse, Sea of Monsters, bro, special, man. But before we get off topic, because we're gonna do this a lot, this joy that we have for One Piece, it started for me. It started at Arlong Park.
Okay.
With Nami, right? I love Baratier. Obviously, Baratier was amazing, right? Sanji, I loved Sanji, loved the jazz music, all that. But the Luffy helped me is where we started the love. The walk to Arlong Park is where oh my God, I'm here, bro. Like every time I watch that walk, I'm like, yo, you start standing up as a kid and you're walking towards the TV screen with them too. You're like, yo, I'm here. But
I'm here, bro. I'm here with them.
I'm here with them. I'm walking to Arlong as well, right? But there is something about this arc, Jaya, that gets me not only emotional, but it's so well-rounded, it's powerful, it's relatable, and it's the foundation of the story. And I'm not joking when I tell people this. Jaya is the lifeblood and the foundation of this story that we read. If you do not understand that, we will convince you today. I'm not even saying we might. We're going to. Because there's so many places to start. And if you guys are familiar with, also before I go on, I want this is very important. If you see the new layout, I want everyone to look at Par Vision in the chat, because we love Par enough. But at this point,
I love Par Vision.
Hashtag I love Par Vision, because he provided me with this at the last minute. Only someone with Par's heart would do this, so please, everyone, thank Par Vision in the chat. We love you, Par. Thank you for this. Then I will continue on. I think we should start off with the theme of this series, One Piece is Real. Again, if you're not familiar with One Piece is Real, we tie out real life concepts to One Piece, because this is how I've really enjoyed One Piece, how I absorbed it as a medium. And with Jaya, it's about dreams, it's about ambitions, and it's about following what you believe. And there's so many different directions that we can start in, but let's start off with the dreams and purpose and ambition part, because a lot of us in the chat have all went through this before. What is our purpose? That is a question that we've been searching for forever. It's a question that some people search for forever. Some people find that purpose and they live out that purpose. But it's the most philosophical, deep question that any human being can ask themselves.
Absolutely.
And it's hard for us because when you're looking for that purpose, you try to find it in other places and you look in wrong directions and you end up miserable and you end up taking it out on others, or you end up just going down the wrong path. And I think Oda does this brilliantly because he shows us every single direction that you can go in when it comes to following your purpose. When it comes to Bellamy, when it comes to Cricket, when it comes to Luffy, and when it comes to Zoro, right? And even Norland in the past, you see it.
Yeah.
It's a hard discussion to have. And I know a lot of us in the chat are probably still having that question. To this day, me and Recon became YouTubers. I don't want to assume why you became a YouTuber, but it's a question I do want to ask you. You know, I became a YouTuber because people told me that they believe I could do this. I didn't think about YouTube. People said, you should make a YouTube channel. And I tried. I started off by making stupid rant videos in my car. People thought it was funny. I was putting on Snapchat. And then I came on here. I did not expect to get to the platform I'm at. I did not expect to be able to speak to people like Recon and BDA Law. I looked up to BDA Law. I watched his streams religiously. I was just like you guys in the chat. I'd watch this guy at work for hours thinking, man, this is great to listen to these guys. I never in my wildest dreams thought I'd be here giving you guys content in the same niche. And it seems as though I'm here for a reason. I don't know what that reason is. I don't know if it's going to take me somewhere in my career, in my future, whatever it is. But it brought me here. And I didn't know I'd be here. I didn't know. I just went for it. And I kept going and I kept believing. And there's people that believed in me. And I'll be honest, I had pushback. My parents didn't want me to do this. My parents thought this was stupid. My mom still thinks this is stupid.
I feel you on that.
So like,
I really do.
There's people that you'll tell, yeah, I do YouTube. Oh, what do you do it for? Oh, I'll do it for anime. They're like, oh, okay. And that's it. And, you know, that stuff hurts. You absorb it because it's like, hey, they may not understand. But it's like, yo, they don't know the time, the effort, the passion that you put into this stuff.
Not at all, man.
And it is the purest form of you that comes out. You know, I tell people one of the only times I ever feel like I'm 100% myself is when I turn on this camera live and I start talking.
Agreed.
That's where I feel like I'm going towards my purpose. It may not mean I'm going to be on YouTube forever, but I'm doing something that I'm supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. And that in itself is the essence of going after your purpose, your dreams, your ambition. And Recon, I want to turn it over to you because I can talk forever, but like, does YouTube,
I'm loving it.
Is it the same thing? Do you get the same feeling or is it a little different?
I do. And actually, going back to the origins, for how you were talking about Brago, shout out to my boy Brago, but for me it was Sawyer and Cole, right? Like I remember those were my guys that I was listening to back whenever I was in high school, and I remembered I was like, you know what, the day that I get a camera, smartphone, microphone, I'm doing this because I want to. It was this inner burning desire of like, I have to talk about One Piece, because at the time everyone in my school who was into anime like myself, they like Dragon Ball, Naruto. If I could, you know, somehow get somebody into something that was not one of those two, it was Bleach. But no one wanted to give One Piece a shot except for one person that was in my class, which God bless her heart for that. And no one else wanted to give the series a chance. And I think that burning desire to want to talk about the series grew of, I kept seeing how much fun Cole was having. I kept seeing how much fun Sawyer was having, and I was like, I want to be a part of that. I want to contribute my side of the conversation because I know I have something new to offer to the table. And you know, just like yourself, I didn't know if it was going to work, but I started it. And the coolest thing about it is, of course, the old channel doesn't exist anymore. It literally got Lelucia, the old channel. But I used to record on like an old, I think it was like an iPhone 5, bro, and it wasn't even in like this. It was like this.
Oh Lord.
Where you would see kind of like how YouTube Shorts are now, except it was literally just a little small screen.
Got the vertical screen, yeah.
The vertical screen. And that's how I did it for a while. And then because everything was so loud in the house, I used to have to record videos in the bathroom, whatever it took to get the content out there. I wanted to do because I just genuinely wanted to talk about One Piece with every fiber in my being. And it led me to this point because, just like you were alluding to earlier, only what you love will you push yourself through that type of stuff of like people telling you they don't want you to do this, individuals not believing in you, whether it's someone who farthest from you, who you introduce yourself, you're like, oh, what do you do? I enjoy doing YouTube. What do you talk about? It's like, oh, I talk about One Piece, if you've ever heard of that. Oh, that's like, anime, whatever it is. But there's always like this little passive aggressive, like, oh, like you're doing that, right?
Yeah.
But to me, it's never the ones that are from outside that really hurt. I think the Bellamys that hurt the most, like you alluded to earlier, are the ones who are close to you, bro.
Yes.
Those are the Bellamys that hurt the most. And so I think no matter what we're going through, I mean, look at what you and I just recently went through, where we were both sick and we still made this happen. To have that determination to continue to push stuff out, not only for yourself because you know that's something that you want to do, but for the individuals who also have an expectation of you to deliver said stuff. It's a combination of those two things along with your love for it that allows us to get to the point to where we are. And in particular here on YouTube, I think one of the most incredible things that we have that is exclusive to us is that our One Piece community is so... I'm in a lot of communities, bro. Call of Duty, Final Fantasy, all of them are toxic. Our community is toxic, but it is so amazing, bro. You know what it is? When a chapter drops, there's like a split, and it's like half the people can love it, half the people can hate it, but we're all here, discussing it together. I'm addicted to that. It's like I can't imagine myself not doing this, especially for chapter releases. It's the reason why I went from doing stuff on Sunday for a little while to back to scan TCB team all day every day, because for me the Friday release or the Thursday release, whatever, and then going and discussing that with other people, there is nothing else like that ever. And I'm so addicted to that, to the point to where I would be doing this if I didn't get paid for it, if I didn't make a YouTube channel. I would be doing something, but I was gonna do it because it's that to me is what's so addicting about this One Piece experience, and that's why I'm still here today in regards to no matter what life is throwing at you, like we said earlier, whether it's health, whether it's other individuals that are like, yo, why are you doing this? This is childish, this is stupid. But to me, it's important. And if it's important, I think to individuals that care about me, then they should also realize that this is something that is important to me, and they should value that as something that is important to me. And that's the way I've always seen it.
No, I agree 100%. And it's the people that do support you that it means a lot to. It means a lot when your friends get into One Piece and then and when they're caught up in One Piece and then they watch your content, support your content, and the people that tell other people about your content. It's, to me, it's a very personal thing, so I don't like people talking about it too much, because it's like, when something like this is so personal, no matter how big I get on this, I'd rather you find out because you got to know me close enough to know I have a YouTube channel than to me to parade it around. And some of my best friends like, yo, man, my boy's got a YouTube channel. He watched One Piece on. I'm like, hey, like, thank you, I appreciate you. But settle down. Yeah. But deep down in my heart, I'm like, yo, these guys are proud of me, man. Like, that means a lot to me. It means a lot that they're proud that I'm doing something that I'm passionate about, and they think I'm good at it. And let's be real, we're good at this stuff. We don't have to be. We're humble, but at the same time, it's like you don't get to the platform you're at without people enjoying what you give them on a day-to-day basis. One of the best messages that I think a content creator can ever receive, and I know that you can share this sentiment, but when someone tells you, yo, man, your content helped me through a really hard time.
There's nothing better than that.
There's nothing better than seeing a comment like that. Because once you realize that you can help somebody through a dark time by sharing your passion, there's nothing purer than that.
Yeah.
Because that's what purpose is about.
Agreed.
And this is a perfect way to segue back into the main topic, because purpose isn't for monetary gain. Purpose isn't for fame. Purpose isn't for recognition. Purpose is something you're meant to do. And what you're meant to do is to impact others positively.
Yeah.
And when we do this stuff and we impact someone in a positive way that inspires them to do something, if it wasn't for Brago, King of Lightning, all of them doing what they were meant to do, I wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here. So you're supposed to be influencing those around you by following your purpose, your dreams, because that's how I believe. You know, I'm not gonna get too religious here, but that's what we're meant to do. We're meant to bring good to those around us. That's it.
Yeah.
And if your purpose isn't centered around what you could give to society and what you could benefit the world and brighten the world in, then that purpose is rooted in vanity. It's rooted in self-servance. And I think your purpose isn't going to be rooted in self-serving behavior. It never will be. And to tie into the characters that we've spoken about, let's talk about Cricket.
Okay.
Because I feel like I underestimated Cricket. His story was sad.
Extremely.
It was extremely sad. And the way he is, it's like he's a broken man, but he never gave up. Even when he has the demeanor of a man that gave up. He has the demeanor of the man that doesn't believe in it. The man still went down to dive and look for that gold every single day.
Every day.
That's
inspirational. That is inspirational,
bro. Luffy and the Straw Hats see that. And then instantly, after they see that, we're like, wait a minute, no. They're just like, nah, this is something different. When Luffy sees people like that, Luffy's like, no. This guy, I like him. I like what he's doing, and I want to prove to you that island, that's your father, your great ancestor, the island, the land of gold, I'm going to prove to you it exists.
Yes.
No matter what, I'm going to prove to you it exists. And the fact that they had found gold, that there was evidence there, but it's the whole family lineage that Cricket, and he made fun of, but he still wanted to prove to those ancestors, like, yo, man, there's no way you died for nothing. There's no way you're just a liar. There's no way my whole lineage is rooted in lies. No, there's a purpose I need to fulfill. And I want to be the one to see it, at least so I can rest. Because to me, I think it just bugged him consistently. Like, this can't be my family lineage. It can't be. It can't be. The whole storybook about my lineage, it just can't be that. So for Luffy, we talked about this before, and I know we're going a bit out of order, but for Bellamy to come back, take that gold, beat them up, and then leave, knowing how Luffy know how important dreams are to Luffy, how important purpose is to Luffy, how much he respected Cricket in that moment. For him to take that away after what Bellamy had done before already, Luffy said, wait till I get my hands on that nigga. He said, wait till I get my hands on him, bro. I'm telling you.
He was like, yo, I'll be right back, bro. I'll be back by dawn. You know what I mean? I'll be back.
He said, I'll be back. Them wasps that were chasing me, bro, trust me, they're not stopping me from this one. They're not, bro.
Nothing.
To this day, man, that's still my favorite Luffy moment ever. But just to rewind back, because I wanna talk about the Luffy bars roasting, because that's very, very important. But I want you to share your thoughts on Cricket. You know, I shared my thoughts. What are you feeling with Cricket? How did he impact you when you watched?
I think exactly what you were talking about earlier is very key. Two things. Number one, when we're talking about dreams and purpose, a lot of the time we're dealing with something that you can't see. That's something that's so far out that you yourself have to create that reality because no one else is going to create it for you. And what we have is a Mont Blanc Cricket who every single day is doing the same quote-unquote meaningless task that he believes is one day going to allow him to reach what he wants to do. And I think we all have those little meaningless tasks because they are our daily like fundamentals, the foundations that we have to lay in order to get to wherever it is that we want to go. And even with that aside, though, I think the key for Noland in particular is I've always seen both Jaya and Baratier as sort of parallels to one another. In regards to Baratier introduces a brand new character in a similar way with Blackbeard. It makes it thematically relevant to everything else around it. With Mihawk and Baratier, Blackbeard in Jaya, then we have a character that is completely against like the antithesis to what Luffy is in Bellamy over here, Don Krieg over here, and then a character who is attempting to either go against their lineage or go for the lineage in Mont Blanc Noland over here, or Cricket over here, and Sanji over here, because at its core, Baratier is a Pixar movie about an individual who wants to leave his parents' bird nest to go and be free in an attempt to accomplish his dream. That is a Pixar film, that is Baratier, that is Sanji's story. Mont Blanc Cricket's story is to actually take the ancestors and what they believed in and make it a reality for the individuals that are around him at this point in time, to prove that his ancestors and everything they did for all of those years and all the ridicule they went through for all those years was for nothing. That it was actually something worth fighting for. It was actually something worth believing in.
Yeah.
And I think those parallels work really interesting because both arcs are similar in that regard. But for Cricket in particular, especially since that is also where I don't know if Oda did this on purpose, knowing him maybe, but this is also where we found out about Sanji's the first thing towards his royal lineage.
Yes.
With Germa was in the arc too, for Jaya, but. For Cricket's character, I think those two things is really what stuck out to me. But in particular, the focus on making sure that Noland, even though everyone ridiculed him, even though everyone called him a liar and stated that this is an individual who was always full of nothing but bollocks and everything that he said was rubbish, like, he believed that what he saw was a reality, and then that in turn became his reality. And I think it goes back to the overall context, not only this arc, but of One Piece as a whole, which I know we'll talk about here with the bar scene in a second, but about individuals not believing in something until they see it.
Yeah.
And that's actually something that we see a lot in the beginning of this arc, when you have like the log pose going off, and Nami's like, wait, but it's pointing up, and Robin's like, well, if it's pointing up, that means there's a sky island up there, the log pose never lies, and Nami does not want to believe this.
Yeah.
Then Luffy and Usopp and them, they dig up a map of Skypiea, and Nami still does not want to believe that it exists. And it's those very same things of like individuals not wanting to believe something until it's right before them, until they can actually physically see it, that Jaya, not just Jaya, but One Piece exists. About and the same thing with the legendary dollplay spread at the beginning of Jaya, where we have the galleon coming down and it says anything that a man can imagine is a possibility in reality.
Yeah.
I think all of that ties into Jaya's core themes of believing in something even if you cannot see it. And it actually ties a little bit into Skypiea stuff as well, because this is something that we're talking about in terms of like material and stuff of that nature, but Skypiea explores this from a spiritual standpoint as well. Of believing in things even though you know you cannot see it. And I think how Oda plays with that in both its negative and its positive elements is what makes the Jaya Skypiea saga so interesting.
That's a very profound way to look at it, and it's something I never really grasped. You know, it's like it's right there in front of you, but as you're saying, like it takes it to a spiritual element, because it's like to believe in spiritual things, you have to believe in what you can't see. Mm-hmm. That's really the foundation of it. And One Piece definitely has a spiritual element to it. It's not been explored too much, but obviously you have the spirit of the going merry. So we know there's a spiritual element to One Piece in that regard as well. But going back to what you were saying about Nami not believing it no matter what, knowing Nami being a navigator, knowing that there's a map of Skypiea, the ship falling down from the sky in the first place as well, scavengers, all of that.
Yep.
Nami had a hard time believing it, but it's so funny because Nami ended up being the one when they got to Jaya to ask that question in the first place. So she wanted to believe.
Yes.
Luffy's like, bro, it's there. Let's go.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
Luffy, Usopp, he's like, bro, it just goes to show the type of man Luffy is. Like, bro, it's there.
Yeah.
And then going back to what you said about Cricket and how it wasn't just Norland, but it's his ancestors and the ridicule that they went through. And then Norland saying that he never lied to the very end. Norland never, ever said I lied. He said, bro, I didn't lie. I don't care. Kill me now. I didn't lie. I did not lie. To the end. And Cricket is like, my ancestors were ridiculed, were laughed at for centuries. At this point, for the sake of my ancestors and Norland, I want to prove that they weren't mocked for nothing, like you said. And to take that on your shoulders, to live alone, separated from the city, and dedicate your life to that purpose and that ambition, takes a level of strength.
Yes.
And mental fortitude. I don't think people understand how much strength it takes to go after your purpose. Going after your purpose is not easy.
It's difficult. I would argue there's nothing more difficult.
There's nothing more difficult. It's the hardest roads that reap the most benefits. Right. And people's like, oh, I found my purpose, it's going to be easy. No, brother, no, trust me, it's not easy.
That's where everything begins.
That's where it begins. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not. But that's what makes people strong. What makes people strong is the challenges that you overcome. I know it sounds shonen, people, but your life is a shonen.
Life is a shonen, man.
Life is a shonen.
I can promise you that.
It's just that you're not beating the big demon lord and you're not infusing your entire body with hockey. Right. You're getting up when you feel like absolute trash and still doing the thing that you believe you're supposed to be doing. I was sitting on the I wasn't even sitting. I was kneeling at the toilet on Saturday telling myself, Lord, this can't be my time. It's like, it can't be. It can't.
This is not the day where I go, man. Not today.
It's not the day. And I remember, I was like, Recon said he's available on Tuesday. I am doing volume 5 immediately. I'm gonna do this. I have to. One Piece is Real is the series that I know I'm meant to do. How long this goes for, this is a series I know I'm supposed to do, period. No one else in the One Piece community is doing this. This is my baby. This is my passion project. I'm gonna do this. I was sick. I went to the urgent care yesterday, was not feeling well. I still said I'm gonna do this because, one, I was very excited to talk to Recon, first and foremost. But two, I have to do this. It's not easy to do this stuff. It's not easy to dedicate 2 hours of your time where I'd probably rather just sip some tea, lay down, and wait for LeBron James to break Kareem's record, because you know that's happening tonight. Yes.
It is happening.
It's gonna happen. And it's not easy to do. And a lot of people, I don't want anyone to trick you in today's day and age where all you're seeing on social media is people just succeeding left, right, and center, and it looks like they went the easy way out. You didn't see the tears, the suffering, the pain, the anxiety, the rejection that these people dealt with to get to where they're at. But they'll sell you a story and make it seem like, oh, you need to do this, this, and this. But they don't tell you the suffering you have to go through to get to that point in the first place, because that's not a good story to sell. It doesn't get you all excited. It doesn't get you dancing in the morning. No. Right. The Bugattis. Where do you think I'm not going to get into Bugattis. But you know, someone put it in the chat and he distracted me. But what I'm basically trying to say is this stuff is tough. And Cricket's story is the hallmark of that. To dive, it's hard to dive. Your lungs are always under pressure. It takes you time to get to that point, and then you have to search. And then, not to mention, there's treacherous creatures in the water, and there's different things.
And it's the same task every day.
It's the same task. It's mundane, but it's all for a purpose.
Correct.
So this is why One Piece is so special, because you take a character that's only been in the series for a couple of chapters, and you can tell an entire story and learn a life lesson. And that's just like scratching the surface of Jaya. Because once you see Cricket's character and you kind of see what purpose is like, then we're going into the notion of Sky Island, where we're shifting gears to Luffy, where Luffy's dream is to go to Sky Island. And they want to learn information about Sky Island, so they go to Jaya. And in Jaya, it's normally known for pirates being housed there, so everyone's like relaxing, chilling, haha, yada, yada, yada. And they go into this bar. and he meet a man named Bellamy. And Bellamy is what you get where you give up on your dreams, you give up on chasing your purpose, and you follow. You follow whatever's hot right now. Oh, this is the new age. This is 2023. We do things this way. Things have changed. You gotta follow the trend, bro. Yeah. That's not what's hot on the streets. Bellamy is your basic TikToker. That's what he is. He's a TikTok whore. That's what Bellamy.
Oh man,
he's been swindled by TikTok, and he's following the latest trends and doing. Yes, he's doing the Charlie D'Amelio dances and trying to get. Oh, he's doing all that. That's what Bellamy is. And then Bellamy looks at Luffy and he's like, bro, you still trying to grow on YouTube and Twitch? Like, what are you doing?
Like, what are you doing?
What?
Yeah.
What?
A great analogy.
Yeah, like, what's going on here? And there's no shame on TikTok, by the way. I don't want to slander TikTok, but I'm using an analogy here, like, that people like to use. They following the trend. TikTok is the trend right now. So I'm talking about trends here. But to get back to like the serious discussion, Bellamy laughs at Luffy. No, actually, it starts with Blackbeard. First of all, it starts with Blackbeard and Luffy, but we'll get to Blackbeard and Luffy before that. But I'm going to talk about Bellamy and Luffy. Luffy and Nami asks about Sky Island. They laugh them out the entire what's it called? They laugh him out the bar. They laugh him out the bar. Yeah. Bellamy goes on the speech about the new age and dreams and all that kind of nonsense. He's talking about his big bounty. He's talking about oh, look at me. This is who I am right now. What's your bounty? What's your bounty? What's your sub count? How many followers do you have? Mm-hmm. They don't even know. Luffy, his credentials ain't been updated yet.
Nope. And even Blackbeard himself, whenever Luffy tells him I'm worth 30 million, Blackbeard's like, you like you were 30, like 30, because he expected more. He was like, I expect you to be like me.
Yeah, he's like 30. I was like, nah, he different. Hold on, wait a minute. I know you were different when I met you. Bellamy.
It's the difference. The difference between Bellamy and Blackbeard.
It's complete difference. So it's like, you see the clear clash in ideals where Luffy's a dreamer. Luffy's chasing that purpose, that ambition. Luffy doesn't care. Luffy cares about his bounty because as a pirate, it's cool to be a pirate. But for the most part, he's not going around destroying and killing people because he wants more clout. He's just adventuring. He's trying to find things. Bellamy's doing all this stuff for clout. It's all about clout for Bellamy because this is the way the new age pirates are supposed to be. Bellamy is the sad excuse for what a pirate is supposed to be, which is a dreamer. Being a pirate is supposed to be freedom. It's supposed to be sailing the seas, adventuring, and looking for whatever is out there for you. What is my goal? What is my purpose? If you notice with all the Straw Hats, all the Straw Hats are centered around a purpose. Luffy does not bring people into his crew unless they have a purpose. No one on the Straw Hats does not have a purpose. Nobody. So for him to run into Bellamy laughs at Nami. They beat Luffy to a pulp. They beat Zoro to a pulp. And Luffy makes the decision. And he says, Zoro, don't fight back. Don't fight back. Recon, I want to ask you this question. Why do you think Luffy told Zoro not to fight back? Because I have an answer. I know a lot of people do. But why do you think Luffy didn't fight back?
So I have both a meta answer and a personal answer. The first one in meta answer is, let me give you a little bit of my thought process as to Oda as an author and why I believe he wrote this particular section of the story when he did in 2002, right? So in 2002, Oda was coming off of his highest high up until that point, which was Alabasta. You ask anybody who was in Japan at the time of Alabasta's release, and it was the hottest thing. It was the hottest thing since Dragon Ball. Everyone loved it. If you weren't a One Piece fan, you what were you doing, right? Like, Alabasta was just the thing. But people don't know about what it took to get to that point. All they saw was the immediate insanity of, oh, One Piece, pirates, this stuff is huge now. And that's for them in Japan. For us, that was Marineford. Like, One Piece didn't get huge until Marineford happened over here. And even then, it didn't get that big until, like, Dressrosa and even recently with Wano. But Alabasta for them was huge. And so, but looking back to the beginning of the series, The only chapter in the first 12 chapters that actually came in at number one was the first chapter and the 12th chapter. The reason why I bring this up is because the fifth chapter in the series, titled Master Swordsman and King of the Pirates, a chapter that is very important not only to all of us fans, but to Ichiro Oda as establishing the connection between Luffy and Zoro, is actually the lowest ranked chapter in the history of not only One Piece, but for One Piece in Weekly Shonen Jump magazine in the table of contents.
Wow.
And what this means is it started off at 10th, then the following week with chapter, I believe it was 6, it came in like 6th, then 6th again, then 6th again, then like 4th. The point is, eventually he got to number 2 again with Tavern, the chapter 10, which is titled, if I'm not mistaken, Tavern, or Flash the Tavern, whatever it is. And with chapter 12, the dog, the Choo-Choo chapter, he came back to first place with what would literally be established as his like creme de la creme, which is the emotional storytelling. What I'm trying to get to with this is when we look back at that and we recall that One Piece was rejected multiple times from being serialized. It had 3, if I'm not mistaken, different one-shots before Romance Down was established. And even when it was established, you saw there was a little bit of hesitation because it would go to like 5th, 7th, 10th. It would fluctuate until Oda started finding his groove. When we look at the journey from that point all the way down to Alabasta, I think the reason why Oda had Jaya, or in Jaya, he had specifically Luffy, Zoro, and Nami, is because Jaya is sort of the culmination of everything in the series up to that point. Not just for the Straw Hats, but for Oda himself. Because what we got in Jaya is... I remember Quentin Tarantino said this one time. It was like, nothing is worth making... or whatever is worth making has to include a piece of yourself, like what you're feeling at the time. Let's just say if you're going through a divorce, that has to make its way into your story at the time.
Yeah.
If you're feeling something, it has to make your way into the story. And I think after the success of Alabasta, Oda looked around and he remembered what it took to get to that point, and I think that's why he wrote Jaya and Skypiea, which is why the bar scene to me is so impactful on a meta level. Because it's Luffy, Zoro, and Nami, the OG3. Nami, like in the beginning of the series, kind of representing our own version of Bellamy, at first does not believe in Luffy. Now, after seeing the entire journey with Luffy, believes in him to the point to where she is asking a complete stranger, like, we want to get to Sky Island. Then we get the double page spread where everybody laughs at them. When everyone laughs at them, it is the only double page spread in chapter 224. And the only double page spread until we get to the People's Dreams Never End speech. And I think that's very important. Because as we've seen throughout the course of the entire series, people laughing at others' dreams is a humongous topic of discussion. Yamato in chapter 1000 of the series stated that she's not going to laugh at Luffy because of his dream. Roger and Whitebeard laughed Whitebeard and Odin laughed at Roger's dream whenever he stated, because they were like, "Yo, this guy's insane." Ace and Sabo laughed at Luffy's dream. But if we notice the difference between Nami and Jaya, or even at the beginning of the series, or any of the Straw Hats, if Luffy would have said what he said in chapter 1060 about his dream, and all the way back then, nobody would have believed him. But that's because he established a belief through multiple repetitive successes that now in chapter 1060 in Egghead Island, they believe in him to the point to where he could say anything and they're like, I believe in that guy.
Right.
I believe in him 110%. And I think Oda at the time in 2002, when he was writing Jaya, he was looking at the recent success of Alabasta, and he was like, I've gotten to the point to where everyone's finally like, or I'm not going to say finally, but people are recognizing the success of the series. Even volume 24, actually, for Jaya, has his first official comment from his parents, that his mom watched One Piece for the first time, the story of Chopper. And so he was finally getting the recognition for all of these years of him struggling, trying to get to the top. He made it to the top, and now what? The first thing he decided to do was relay a message to people like myself, like you, that this stuff is possible. But you have to go up against the individuals who are your naysayers. You have to go up against your Bellamys. You have to go up against your things. I think that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
To have that after your first major success. Now, going from a personal standpoint, this section of the story means so much to me because I was that individual who used to fight back when people would tell me that they don't believe in me or in my dreams. I was the individual that would try to clap back and let individuals know like my piece. I'm like, oh, that's why whenever I make it, da-da-da-da-da. This section taught me that everything that you do It should be the path that you lay, the things that you do that speak for you, never you yourself. And so for me, the reason why Luffy told Zoro not to fight them is because not only is it a direct parallel to the Shanks sequence at the beginning of the series, it is Luffy's version of that, to where when he saw what Bellamy was doing, he understood that's not a real pirate. And I'm not going to fight back at that guy because I already know he's not about the same life that I'm about. He's over here trying to do all of this stuff for, like you said, for clout and just to belittle other individuals. I am someone who, as we clearly see, believes in other individuals. And if he doesn't believe in me, I'm not going to give him the time of day. You can spit on me, you can break my face, you can shove me through a table, but you're not going to break my spirit, because I know where I'm going, and I know exactly where you're going to be going too. And so he, like Blackbeard said, he won the battle a long time ago. And actually, I want to bring up the exact statement because it pretty much captures this. If Blackbeard states in chapter 225, "Let them laugh. If you're aiming for the top, you don't always need your fist to show your might."
Yep.
And that's why Luffy didn't fight back against Bellamy.
I'm not gonna lie, you got me a little emotional, man. You got me emotional. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, damn, I'm starting to tear up, though, because like I felt that in my spirit. I was like, yo, for me, the part that really started to get to me is when you said it's because you said people didn't believe in you. And that's like, that hurt you, and it hurts me because I've been through that before. But one, the comparison to Oda, his journey, I did not know about the Oda journey at all. That makes so much sense that Oda would write that. Jaya is a part of Oda. I agree. That is a part of his soul that he put into Jaya, which is why I think it's the culmination of One Piece. And then for what you said about Bellamy and Luffy saying that's not a pirate, he doesn't even believe in anything that I believe in. So I'm not gonna waste my time. People like that are so far gone from what you believe and what you think, they don't deserve your time. It's a waste of time, because if you engage, you let them win regardless. It's like, wow, your words that I don't even believe in cause me to act? What? That's an insult to myself. So I get that. I did. It's like, that's partially how I would have answered the question, but you took it to a deeper level. And the reason it hits me the most, because I've spent a lot of my life trying to be like what other people told me to be, because I've spent a lot of my life being lost. And there's a lot of people that try to tell me how to live my life, how to do this, how to do that, instead of just walking the path that I know I should. Because at the end of the day, we have something called a gut, an instinct. You know, for people who are spiritual, that gut instinct is a little bit deeper, but the gut instinct is a gut instinct, right? And you follow your gut because it's leading you in a direction. You know what you shouldn't do, and you know what you should do. And I've let a lot of people in my life give me advice, push me in directions where I knew, does that really make sense? Should I do that? But I mean, look at them, that works. It seems to be the trend right now. I should do that. And even when I do it and it works, it feels hollow. It doesn't feel real. And then I ask myself, what do these guys believe in? And then I ask myself, what do I believe in? And then that's when you realize I'm not following what I'm supposed to follow. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. And these guys can be your friends, that they will try and help you, but they help you in a way that disrespects the fabric of who you are as a human being. And it hurts to view them in that way, but it happens. There are friends in this world that will steer you down a path that you are not meant to go, because they believe that's what's good for them, but it's just a core belief issue. You just have different core values. You could still associate with them. That's fine. And you had good times with them, but they can steer you down the wrong path. And I've recently come to the decision now that what these people think will not have a standing in my life anymore, because there's a direction I'm supposed to go that they will not help me get to. They can tell me anything they want, and I won't allow them to do it. So that whole notion of do not engage, don't even waste your time, it hits harder for me because when you see Luffy and Zoro have the strength to realize this is not what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
We just take it and move on. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
And they come out of it stronger. Blackbeard comes out and is like, yo, man, why are you sad? They won that fight. What do you mean?
Yeah.
They're built different. And Blackbeard's a villain.
Yeah.
So Blackbeard's here to get bro. The moment he found Luffy's bounty, he's like, oh, it's time to kill him. Like, it's time. Like, so. Dude. But it's like Luffy, we all know Blackbeard and Luffy are two sides of the same coin. Yep. So we're gonna, because I think we've talked about the bar scene now, we talked about Bellamy, we're gonna get into the speech now, and this is where things get really heavy.
Let's go.
But to really bring that point home, it's like, it means a lot to me for you to verbalize that, because it's something that I always felt like I understood, but now I understand to a deeper level, that there are times where you just don't engage. There are times where you stick to your ideals because that's what it's not supposed to be easy to stick to your ideals. We make fun of Deku, we make fun of Tanjiro, we make fun of a lot of these shonen protagonists because it's always about their ideals. But that's what real strength is. At the end of the day, we don't like it because we feel like we know that's what you're supposed to do, that's the good thing to do, and people try to be different. It's not easy. Those guys are different for a reason. What are your ideals? What do you stand for? And if you don't know what you stand for, find out. Figure it out and stand on it. Because look at what happened at the end. Bellamy got his at the end of the day. Yeah. And he got his because he directly disrespected a core fundamental ideal for Luffy. You hurt my friends and you hurt his passion and purpose, you're finished. Now I got you. You're done. Now I got a reason to hurt you. And it's the same thing. If somebody, put it this way, if somebody insults you, you're like, I'm not gonna engage. You're not. I have enough pride in myself that I don't need to engage with you. But you insult my mother, you insult my sister, you put your hands on my sister, my mother. Now it's not about me anymore. Now it's about what I stand for. I protect my own. That's when action is necessary. That's right. And it's that simple. And you put it perfectly, because then we move into the speech. And Luffy, again, I love Luffy and Zoro in this moment because they don't say a word. They don't speak for quite a long time. Nami's like, why are you guys not talking? And they're just dusting themselves off. I'm cool, bro. Like, it's whatever. Matter of fact, they were still on the floor when Blackbeard was talking, and then they get up and start dusting themselves. I forgot about that. And then Luffy's a very expressive person. Look at the way Luffy was looking at Blackbeard when he was speaking. He listened and internalized every word. Every single word Blackbeard said. I mean, bro. Like, the speech is the best speech in One Piece. It will be the best speech in One Piece. I don't think there's going to be a better speech 100%. In One Piece, period. I just don't think there is. And people's dreams never end. Your dreams are yours. Nobody can tell you your dream is stupid. Nobody. There's too much proof in our world. There's too much examples in this world of people that have gone after their dreams and have made it. And your dream doesn't have to be anything massive. It's a dream. I don't know. Your dream doesn't have to be an NBA star or a movie star. It doesn't have to be that. Your dream could just to be a piano teacher and to teach people the joy of music. That's a dream. 100%. It's a pure dream. But what is it? Go for it. People that ridicule them, who cares about them? What do they have to do with where you're going? I told myself this a while ago. And I told this to a friend. I was on the phone today. I just love how everything's tying together. I said, I stopped caring what people think about me. Because what they think about me doesn't stop me from doing what I need to do. I may have made mistakes in the past. I may have upset this person. This person may think I'm weird. Whatever it is. What they think does not stop me from doing what it is I'm supposed to be doing. That's right. I could lose all my friends today, but I could still have a dream, and I could still go for it. So you realize that what people think does not equate to you chasing a dream. It doesn't matter. And then people think dreams, oh, you're just clutching at stars, you're clutching at something that's not real. Who cares? Mm-hmm. There is nothing more pure, there's nothing more concrete, there's nothing more fulfilling, there's nothing more self-sustaining than having a dream and purpose and going after it, because that dream will fuel you to the day you die. That's what a dream is supposed to be about.
That's right.
You're supposed to go of that purpose, because that purpose is what will sustain you till death. Or till when you go and be with the Lord, if you believe in him.
That's right.
That's what they're for. That's what it's all about. So Luffy being the Pirate King, Luffy believes that the One Piece is real. He don't need nobody to tell him. It's the journey that's sustaining him. Right. Sky Island, that's part of his dream. It's sustaining him. So who cares what Bellamy thinks? Who cares that Bellamy's laughing at me, spitting at me, throwing bottles at me, all this nonsense? Yeah. What is Bellamy gonna do? How's Bellamy gonna stop me from going to Sky Island?
Yep.
And then Blackbeard just re-emphasize that. Some random guy sitting down on the wood, eating cherry pies and drinking liquor. Bro, it's like, I mean, come on, just take it away, bro, because I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going, man.
No, that you put it in such a great way that, Blackbeard's speech. I'm in the same sentiment as you. I think it's not only the greatest speech in the series. I think every single chapter, every reveal, everything that happens from here on out is only going to strengthen that moment, especially whenever we get to the real end game between Blackbeard and Luffy. That is my favorite character introduction of all time, because growing up, right, I always loved the characters that you hear of in the background. I'm talking about the Sephiroths and like Vader, Big Boss, whatever, like these characters that you'll hear of in the background, but you won't see them. Like in Drum Island, we heard of Blackbeard, we heard of what he did, we heard of what he's doing. And in Alabasta, we heard that he killed a crewmate, and that's why Ace is going after him. And it's like, so we're hearing all these things, but then we see him, but we don't know it's him. And then this random dude delivers the most iconic speech in the series that captures the entire thing, and then directly after that we find out he's the main antagonist of the series.
Yes.
And I think that is so crucial in not only representing the series itself, but for Blackbeard as a character later on down the line. For me personally, I think it's the most powerful scene in the entire series, considering everything that's surrounding it. But just at its core, the fact that a dude like Blackbeard, the main villain, we're talking the individual who has no regard for human life. You know how LeBron, whenever it was back on
the Celtics,
NBA on TNT, Tomahawk, no regard for human life.
I'll never forget.
All right?
Never. I'll never forget it.
That's Blackbeard. He's the ultimate opportunist who goes in at every scenario, but it's because he has a purpose, because he has a dream, and he is going to obtain it, whatever means necessary.
Whatever means.
It doesn't matter what is going to take place. It doesn't matter how devious or malicious these things may seem to each and every single one of us. In his heart, he believes that is the only way he can achieve what he wants to do. Yep. And I think it's so key that something like that exists within One Piece, because it's a direct parallel to what Shanks stated in Chapter 1, where pirates are not either good or evil. These are individuals who stand right in the gray area. They do bad things to do good things at times. We know that Luffy is an individual who doesn't call himself a hero, but we know that he has that heroic type nature to him to want to help other people. In Blackbeard's case, it's all about himself, and I look forward to seeing how Oda's going to play with that, with Luffy and Blackbeard down the line. But going back to this speech, this scene means so much to me, Jay, because I don't know if we've ever had this discussion before. I've talked about this so many times over on the channel when it comes to Jaya. But Jaya / Water 7 actually revealed my own purpose to me. Have you watched episode 1015 of the anime for One Piece?
1015?
Jay?
I don't know if I have.
1015 is the Red Rock episode where... I did.
You
watched that one?
Yes.
So there's a scene in that episode where Yamato is reading a book, and like a bunch of birds fly behind her, and it's like this really... Like the moment that Yamato hears Luffy and Roger's dream, it's like her life changed after that. That to me is Jaya, Skypiea, and Water 7 in his lobby. Because after I saw that scene in particular, People's Dreams Never End, and everything that followed, it sort of revealed exactly what I want to do as well. And my dream and purpose ever since then has been that I want to create a work, a book in my case, that can make other individuals feel what Oda made me feel, and how he changed the course of everything from that point on. I want other individuals to feel what those scenes made me felt, what stuff like chapter 1044 makes me feel, what stuff like the Reverie chapters, chapter 957, 956, these feelings of excitement, not just those, but of emotion, of genuine emotion where you want to just share something with the world. It's such a beautiful thing. And I'll always be grateful to Oda for that, for having these arcs in there in order to help me find that. And of course, I'll always thank God first, but I of course thank him for putting this series in front of me in the first place, for me to discover that, because it's something that each and every single day I've been working towards, thanks to this People's Dreams Never End speech. I love this speech so much that I remember back whenever I was in my first score run in college, and this is how you know whether you're achieving what you really want to do or what somebody else has in store for you. Because my first score run in college, I was going down what I thought I should be doing, not what I should actually be doing. And every single day, I would be rewatching the People's Dreams Never End speech to get myself motivated. Now, because I'm going down the route that I'm actually supposed to be going to, the People's Dreams Never End speech is me. It rings like the drums of liberation going through my veins each and every single day. I don't have to listen to it, I'm living it. And that is the difference between when you know you are going through a route that somebody else has put in store for you, or you're going through a route that's actually meant for you. And I think that's why this Blackbeard's People's Dreams Never End speech hits so hard, is because you can feel this is something that he knows. And I love how Luffy has those flashbacks to Ace and Shanks in the moment, because those are the only two other individuals he can compare to Blackbeard.
Yes.
Shanks is an individual that's like, it's his mentor, and to a certain extent of like, I want to be like him. I want to be a great pirate like him. He is the signpost for what a great pirate should be. And Ace is his brother. He loves him with every fiber in his being, and he knows that he is going to meet him again when they become great pirates. And so Luffy's like, okay, I'm comparing him to Shanks, even though I know nothing about this guy except for the fact that I hate everything that he loves. So, but even then, even though they're so different in nature, there's something within Blackbeard that is calling out to him, that's stating, we speak the same language. We may come from different backgrounds, you may do things in different ways, and the only reason why they're even like against each other now is because he killed his brother. Like, the man, even when he met him at Impel Down, or was responsible for killing his brother, because of course it led to the whole Whitebeard and Marineford stuff and everything. Yeah, you know what I mean. Yep. But with Blackbeard, even though when they met again, what was the first thing he said? He was like, "Yo, my boy, did you make it up to Sky Island? Like how was it?" Because he just believed in him so much. He
knew he was gonna get there. He
knew he was gonna get there. Yeah. And I think when you have someone else, even though you're so different, but you can tell they're cut from the same cloth that you are, there's that immediate connection, because like I said earlier, you start comparing them to other greats. I can give you a perfect example myself. Every time that I meet someone that I know is cut from the same cloth, I immediately compare them to the most extreme example I have, which is Kobe Bryant. Kobe, to me, God rest his soul, was such a main source of inspiration for so many years. And so whenever, like, that would be like my Shanks. So like I'm sitting here, I'll listen to someone speaking, and I'm like, he gets it. He understands. And that's why Luffy was so intent in the moment, because he's like, he understands. He knows why I didn't fight back. He like all of this, because Luffy's very smart. We just don't like see him outwardly express certain things in a very intelligent way. But he's a very smart individual in regards to how people are. And we know that back from the beginning of the series with Kobe. Remember whenever he didn't want Kobe to leave his purpose. So before Kobe became a Marine, he was like, oh no, I'm making him punch me, dude. Like, he's punching me before he goes down the wrong path. Because if not, he's just gonna follow me.
Yep.
So, and that's how he's always been throughout the entire course of the series. But circling this back to the People's Dreams Never End speech, the fact that that's coming from the main antagonist in the series tells me the most important thing about One Piece, and the most important thing about what Oda's trying to say here, is that when it comes to dreams, dreams are limitless even to individuals whom you believe do not deserve it. Blackbeard is an individual that many people believe does not deserve another chance at even life because of everything that he's done. But Oda's stating that even individuals like that have a dream and a purpose that is just like Luffy's. It's just he's going about it in a different way, and it's going to lead him down a different path.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, these are individuals that are cut from the same cloth, that are going towards the same thing, and they believe in it to the point to where when somebody states they're going to become something like the king of the pirates, to them it's something like a stepping stone. Because I guarantee you, for Blackbeard, he has higher ambitions than that, and Luffy, of course, we have the dream that we don't know of yet.
Right.
So something like a Sky Island, which Luffy even states, I believe, is in chapter 219, is a dream island. Even something like that is like, of course, something like that would exist. That doesn't compare at all to my endgame. And when something doesn't compare at all to your endgame, to your dream, that's how you know that you and that other person that's stating the same thing are cut from the same cloth. And I think everything surrounding the people's dreams speech never end, or the people's dreams never end speech, is really what makes it special. But you could even take that panel by itself in those three chapters leading up to it, and you could write an entire analysis on it just based on that, even outside of the series context, because of how Oda wrote everything leading up to it, with Bellamy, with even individuals in the crew, the whole idea on dreams and on Noland, and everything about that arc is centered on people's dreams never end. And I would argue that everything surrounding the series is centered around people's dreams never end. And one day, when we look back on the series and it's almost the end, and we find out what Luffy's dream is, the day we find out what Luffy's dream is, we're going to come back to chapter 225, see that people's dreams never end speech, and we're going to be like, that's what he was thinking about when Blackbeard was delivering that speech.
What can I say? What can I say? It's the truth. First of all, shout out to Kobe, because I agree with the Kobe Bryant inspiration so much. And it's funny because I was a LeBron fan, so we were always at contention. But for me, it's like after he retired and then you saw him continue that dream.
Yes.
The children's books, the Oscars.
Yep.
I'm like, this is not just a basketball player.
That's right.
This is a man. Like, that's the best way I could describe it. That is a man. Mamba mentality is a purpose. That's what he came up with. He came up with a purpose. Anything that I put my mind up to, I will attack it with the ferocity of a black mamba. And bro, they took him too young. They took him too young. Too young. It was just too young. To me, it's why it was one of the most devastating moments in the world. I've not seen such a worldwide devastation since Michael Jackson's death. I have not seen it before. At all. And it's because...
Go ahead. I was going to say the same thing I'm pretty sure you're about to say.
It's because for me, I'm thinking to myself, like, it wasn't just basketball that you could apply the Mamba mentality to. I sat down and thought to myself, I said, what if I applied that mentality to my life and what I wanted to do? What could I do? Kobe made you realize I'm really not pushing hard enough for what I want to do. Kobe did everything. 10,000 shots in the gym before leaving? That whole thing, bro. To us, that sounds insane. To Kobe, it's not. No. Because that's something he needed to do. I need to fix this, I'll do it. When you watch the highlights of every game winner Kobe hit, you know he hit that same shot 10,000 times in the gym before. That's not, it's talent, but it's work ethic, veracity, talent, all of that. He won. That's why, like, bro, I'm not gonna get into this, bro, because I've suffered enough. Every time I think about Kobe, I get sad, man. But
no, I feel you.
But like, you know, Recon, I really appreciate you as a person, because, you know, the way you express things really strikes people, and it really makes them think. And when you said that you had that moment where you watched Jaya and you realized what your purpose was, and your purpose was to make people feel the same things that Oda had given you in his story and write your own, like that, to me, that's what a purpose is about. Because if your goal is to bring the same type of inspiration that came to you to others, and for me it's very similar, and things like Jaya also did something like this to me, because I have been searching for a purpose for myself for quite some time. Where do I belong? What am I supposed to do? And when I came up with this series, One Piece is Real, I realized that there's ways that I relate to things and I express it to people, and people are like, wow, I never heard that before. And then it made me think, why do I love One Piece so much? What is it about the story that I really love? Is it the fights? Yeah, I love the fights, but there's lots of great animes with great fights. You know, is it the emotional moments? Yeah, it's the emotional moments, but there are a lot of animes that make me sad, right? Is it the plot? Yeah, the plot's incredible. It's intertwined. Is it the theories? I realized I don't really care about the theories, which is hard for people to say, but didn't really do anything for me. So then I'm wondering, like, what is it about this story that really made me fall in love? And then I started thinking about Nami, and then and Arlong Park, and then from Arlong Park it was Fishman Island, and then once I realized how maligned Fishman Island was, and then I revisited, it was that Arlong. I swear to God, I keep going back to this damn flashback. Arlong's flashback, Fisher Tiger, Jinbei. It's something about that flashback that made me
legendary.
that hit me so hard. I'm like, this is too real. It's like a real life flashback. It's too real. Yeah. That's when I realized this is why I like One Piece, because then I go back to why I love Crocodile so much, and it's because of how much he antagonized Vivi over and over and over again, to the point where Vivi's such a sweet, pure woman. The vitriol and the hatred Vivi had for Crocodile, I'm like, this man is evil. Like, it's the laugh, like, yo, one of the most toxic moments in One Piece. He's got Vivi tied up, everyone's flooding, everyone's in the cage. Crocodile's just laughing at the top, just like
he's
this.
He's just like,
I'm like, nah, bro. No, there's no one more toxic than Crocodile, dog. Toxic, just absolutely toxic. But it's the emotions that Vivi felt, to the point where Vivi punches Luffy, physically punches Luffy, and then Luffy, physically punches Vivi. And I realized this is what it's like. This is, as humans, this is how we react in these moments. How else is Vivi supposed to react? Right. What is she supposed to do? So then once I realized that Oda writes his story in a way that's so relatable to your everyday struggle, that's when I realized this is my One Piece. This is why I love the series. If I find something that I can relate to in an everyday struggle, this is what I love. And I feel like people don't see it because we're caught up in, the anime element, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the way I absorb this series, because of moments like this. So I said, One Piece is real. I'm gonna show you why One Piece is real. And then we have moments, and now that we're talking about this, now that we're on volume 5, I'm able to bring these examples and how it's related to other people out. So you hear from Parr, you hear from you hear from Murphy, you hear from Brago, and all of you guys have given us stories that have all hit us heavily. I don't know if you saw the episode with me and Brago, but I swear the story Brago had with this guy, I think his name is George, this guy where, my God, funniest story ever. I'm gonna spoil it for you, but long story short, we're talking about giving back to the black community and how he went for this guy George because he was black. He wanted to put his faith in him. And this guy George just did not deliver. He just did not deliver at all. It was the funniest story I've probably heard in the longest time, but it hit home because Brago was letting everyone know, it's like, I know we want to support our own, but we have to deliver. We can't just support our own blindly. We have to think. We have to put our own on a pedestal. We have to expect quality from our own. That is a powerful message for us as black people. So if I can give you guys a platform to share these stories and let people know how your life can be impacted by anime and just One Piece, Imagine what more could be done if we tackle other series and other incredible authors. Because, I mean, if we get into Hunter x Hunter, if we get into Chimera Ant, if we get into Full Metal Alchemist about truth, religion, and philosophy, if we get into that, I mean, that's a deeper level. So, going back to the point I'm talking about, is like this purpose that you're talking about. I feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose right now by doing this series. And to me, it means a lot for me, for you to share that, because there's something that's so peaceful about knowing that you're doing something you're supposed to be doing. It's
That's
not
right.
easy, but it's relaxing, because at that point, now you have the confidence to where someone opposes that piece, you're like, bro, get out. I'm not letting you take this something I finally found that I feel like belongs to me. You can't have it. You can't disrespect me. Like when you said he saw Blackbeard cut from the same cloth. Blackbeard may be evil, but Luffy's like, this guy gets it. Anyone that you've met, Recon, that gets it, your mind shifts. It's like there's chemicals in your brains that shift. You're like, wait a minute, I'm paying attention.
Yeah.
You got me. You said something I resonate with. Continue.
They could say anything that will strike a chord, and immediately, like, my ear, I'll be like, oh, no, you got my full undivided attention.
You got my full attention.
We're on the same
now.
wavelength.
You said the thing that was said, and just, okay, we're here now. You know, and it's that moment with Luffy and Blackbeard where you see it and you're entranced in the moment. And I want to add an element to this, and we talked about this when we were in the VC beforehand. I don't think people understand the concept of following your dreams and not being afraid to express it. Blackbeard is in the middle of the town.
Yeah.
Sitting on the floor, eating pies and drinking alcohol. That's weird. Imagine you walking around the street and there's a dude sitting down on Broad Street yelling a speech and drinking and eating pies. And then there's two guys beaten, bloodied up, and a girl dragging them up, and they're just standing there watching them. We don't understand that context because it's anime. But it's weird, and it's weird why? Because after he does that speech, they start laughing at Blackbeard and mocking him. And they're like, look at this guy's an idiot. And the guys in the bar, they're laughing at Blackbeard. Oh, what's that noise? Oh, they're probably taking it out on some rats or something like that. I'm like, what they're talking about is bigger than what is all around you. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that.
Dude, Blackbeard, in response to the laughter, the first thing he says is, it isn't easy to be great. Which goes into what you're saying.
Goat!
Yes.
I keep telling y'all Blackbeard my goat, and we didn't even know who he was yet. We always talk about Kizaru having the greatest character introduction, and it's definitely top 5. The bowling ball, the riding the bowling ball,
it's legendary.
It's never going to be defeated. But that is the greatest character introduction, because you don't know who the guy is, and he delivers a bombshell of a speech to the point where our MC does not bat an eyelid, absorbs every word he says, and then just walks away. Did he even say anything to Blackbeard?
He said, no, he didn't say anything directly to Blackbeard, but only the it's they.
Yeah,
right?
Tsunami.
Like
yes,
exactly. There's more Tsunami, but he didn't say nothing to Blackbeard. He just listened to him and kept it going,
and just walked away.
Yeah.
The scene is so powerful, and the more you watch, the more you read the series, the deeper we get into the story, the better the speech gets. The speech only gets better and better and better. And the worst part is, not the worst part, the best part is when they meet to actually clash with each other. I'm not going to be surprised if we revisit that moment in a different way. I'm not going to be surprised, because Oda always does playbacks.
That's right.
He's going to run it back. And then just to coincide Luffy and Blackbeard's relationship, in Impel Down, you talked about them meeting in Impel Down.
Yeah.
That scene where Blackbeard is towering over Luffy and Luffy's looking up at Blackbeard. Blackbeard still respects Luffy. He's like, oh, okay, your hockey done come up. All right, King. Yep. What's up with it? You lucky Ace was here, because I would have folded you, but hey, bro, I see you. You're here.
Legit. Just like that.
That's it, bro. I can't wait for them to fight. My prayer, Oda, I'm praying, bro. Blackbeard's backstory, it's gotta cook. It needs to cook. It's gotta cook. It's gotta cook. It's there.
At this point, I think it's, besides Dragon, maybe the most anticipated backstory.
Oh my goodness.
But still, Void Sentry, obviously. But
Void Sentry,
for characters, I think besides Dragon, I think Blackbeard is probably the most anticipated.
It just and there's so many different ways that it could go, because we still don't know yet whether it's like a son of Zebek. Is Zebek residing in him?
Exactly.
People talking about, is he a failed clone of Zebek, which could be an interesting twist, because it could still work. That could still work, so I'm not opposed to that. There's so many different things that could go into Blackbeard, and once you know about his backstory, that speech is tied to his backstory, because that came from somewhere. That was instilled in him from somewhere, because Luffy, Roger, and Shanks instilled that ideology in Luffy. So for Blackbeard, it has to come from someone. I'm assuming Zebek had to have something to do. There's no way Zebek didn't have anything to do with it. So it came from Zebek, but who else?
Yeah, 100%. And actually, on that same line of thought, it actually made me think, if, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, Blackbeard, got it from Rocks, or like this was placed, it's one of those scenarios where Blackbeard believed this was his, upon learning more about Rocks, or learning he was a clone of Rocks, was it something of where he took it as his own, as he believed that was his purpose? Or was he attempting to defy a different purpose? So what I mean by that is, let's just say Blackbeard, we all know that one iconic image under the SBS where he's under the moon and he's crying. And while figuring out and hearing about Rocks, which was like the big pirate of his day, of Blackbeard's day with Roger, rather than aligning himself with Roger, maybe he aligned himself with Rocks, and in that way, maybe he was defying his own. Not gonna say. I think the best way to put it would be defying his circumstances and truly finding his purpose. Like, what do you think about Rocks, and or if that is true, or Rocks, or discovering he's a clone? Whatever was within his backstory is what led him find the purpose that he's trying to accomplish, to the point to where he's going about it in the most ridiculous of ways. He doesn't care how many people he has to kill, how many people he has to, what he has to do, create this meticulous plan to go get rid of Ace at Marineford just so he can take Whitebeard's fruit. All of these meticulous little things that he's been planning for so many years. If all of that was caused from something within his backstory, it's got to be something huge.
That's what I'm thinking. And then one thing that somebody said, and it's a theory, is that if Blackbeard is a failed clone of Zebek, he is trying his best, because if he knows he's a failed clone, he's trying to build a purpose from that failure. He's like, if you think I'm a failure, there is no way. I'm gonna devise a plan and be the greatest there's ever been, and I'll be greater than Zebek ever was. If that is the backstory, I'm like, okay, now we are cooking.
Yeah.
Because then I'm like, I'm here for that. That makes a lot of sense.
I am too.
Because imagine if he gets defeated and Blackbeard's like, I wasn't a failed clone. I did something. I did what I set out to do. And I was right there. I almost had it. Fair play, Straw Hat. You got it. Fair enough. I'd be like, bet. Go. That's it. Go.
Greatest
of all time, bro. That's it.
Of all time.
That's his flu game. That would be his flu game right there. That's it. That'd be his flu game.
Yep. It's like, I did everything I could. I took Whitebeard's fruit. I gave all of my other individuals fruits. I got Conker's coding. I'm doing everything possible. I boxed Whitebeard, I boxed Whitebeard. I boxed a Law. I went over to Amazon Lily. I did everything possible. I just happened to lose to the other man on these seas whose ambition was just a little bit greater than mine. You got me.
He could even say the line, I lost to Joy Boy. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Okay. It is what it is.
It is what it is. I lost to Joy Boy. I lost to the man who's going to bring the dawn. I couldn't overcome that side. And it would actually make him a tragic character if he were to say it in that way.
It would be a very tragic character, but it would be full circle. It would be a beautiful ending, and Oda knows how to write, so I'm not gonna zoom. That's what he should do. But if that is what he does, I mean, go ahead, Oda, go ahead and write it. You'll write it better than what we just said, but it's gonna be hype. I'll be excited. I do want to take a quick break here to just read some super chats, because Lord knows I take too long to read these during these series because I get too interested in the conversation. Then we're gonna get to another great part which is the Bellamy confrontation. Lord, I'm ready for that.
All right.
Man, so from Yanko J, gifted $5. Man, your stories are really inspiring to keep going with my channel. Keep going, Yanko J or Jai. We all reached a point where we didn't know whether we should continue, and we pushed through it. I promise you, there was a time where I was begging to get 10,000 views on a video. Begging. I didn't know what to do. And when I got there, man, it was different. It was a different feeling. So trust me, that time is coming. You just got to keep pushing and just keep trying new things. That's what was important for me. Keep trying to learn. Don't just keep trying the same thing over and over again, because when you do, you're going to get the same results.
That's right. It's an adventure, just like Luffy's journey. The important thing is to act first, and then take responsibility and accountability for what happens after. Yep. There's going to be certain things in this YouTube journey. You're going to try a video sometimes, and it's going to bomb.
Yeah, man.
But maybe it's something you enjoy doing, and you want to evolve it to the point to where other people can accept it in the same way that you're accepting it. Or you take a video and it does great, but then you're like, I don't know, man. Like I want to still do my other thing. In those types of things, you have to come to your own decisions as a creator on whether you want to do something or not do it, depending on how it's doing, right? Like sometimes you have to go with your like Jay said earlier, your gut, your intuition against maybe what even YouTube themselves are telling you. YouTube will be like, oh man, this video is doing #1 out of your most recent videos, but let's just say if number 10 or number 8 was the one that brought you the most joy, what decision are you going to make right at the end of the day? And I think as an up and coming creator, the most important thing is to do more number 8s than number 1s. Because the number 1s are going to find themselves out eventually. Yep. But when you do your number 8s and your number 10s, the ones that bomb but you love doing, that's what's going to keep you through the dark times and the hard times.
Absolutely, man. I agree 100%. Listen to my brother Recon. Baby Pluto _ happy you for 23 bones. Appreciate you. Happy you doing this, Jay. Keep up this elite series because we treasure this. Ready for Goat James to break the record tonight. Let the rodents suffer in pain tonight. Let's go. You're right. Let them suffer. It's time for the LeBron haters to suffer forever. This is the night where every LeBron hater will feel my wrath, because if he passes Kareem, I will bury every single one of you. I will try my best to leave Jordan out of it, but you guys are in trouble. That's all I'm going to say. All right, cool. Brother Seneto with the $2 Canadian. Shout out to the coach. I appreciate you.
Shout out to Sen.
My boy Sen. We love Sen, of course. Lazy Mofos with the $10. Thanks, y'all.
Shout out to Lazy Mofos.
It's my boy, man. Good guy. Thank y'all. People need to hear real convos like these. Absolutely, man. And that's why we're doing this series. So I appreciate you guys. So back to the conversation we're having, and we're moving on to the profound moment of Bellamy attacking Mont Blanc Cricket. And for me, this one hurt because for Bellamy, it's one of those moments where you feel the pain before even the retribution comes in. When he takes his gold and he beats him up, and it's not just a regular beat, it's a bad beating. He beats them all up. And then Luffy comes back and he's like, Luffy, you know when Luffy's mad, he doesn't speak anymore. He stopped speaking.
He just puts the hat over the eyes and was like, yo, we're going.
It's like, bro, and he just said, no, he even told nobody to come with him. He said, wait right here, I'm going to be right back. Like, I'm going to be right back.
Right back.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't say no words. He didn't even say what he was going to do. Yeah. If I see Luffy do that, I'm like, yo, everybody listen to him. Just, bro, I'm telling you. He said, I'm going to be right back. And it's the attitude of Bellamy, and I think we should talk about Bellamy. We've talked about Bellamy, but I really want to hone in on Bellamy and his crew, because the anger and vitriol I felt for Bellamy at this moment was at an all-time high. The guy was a poser. The guy was lost. And we should sympathize for people like Bellamy, but when you act so heinously based on a false belief and pretense, it's hard to have sympathy. And for you to disrespect the dream of somebody that is trying to free years of pain and suffering for his ancestors, and you take it on a whim out of greed, It's disgusting and it's deplorable.
It is.
And it's the perfect build-up to the moment that we get. Because the newspapers are going around, the bounty posters are going around. And it's so funny because Bellamy looked down on Luffy because of his bounty. Yeah. Oh, you're trash. You're not part of this new age. What was Bellamy's bounty? Was it 30 million? Or was it like 20?
I think it was like 33.
I mean, it was like 33 or something, man. He's like, oh yeah, but just look at this bump. And it's like the ultimate, I love these memes, it's the ultimate does he know moment. Like, does he know?
Does he know?
Does he know? Like, does he know? Because I was 58 million. Thank you, chat. Yep. 58 million. So he thought he was the hot shot. He didn't know Luffy just took down a Shichibukai, so he don't even know. The Doflamingo, who you on the knees for, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The Shichibukai that you praising, Luffy took out one of them already. And then you insult his friend on top of it, bro. I'm telling you, we get to that, we get to the tavern, everyone's laughing, everyone's giggling, Luffy's back up, he's like, yo, where's the gold? Where's the gold at? Luffy's not playing around. It's like, yeah, where's the gold at, man? It's like, what's happening? Where's the gold at? Just tell me where the gold is, and we can make this quick. Bellamy's hopping around, jumping around, screaming like, oh yeah, I'm gonna show you who I am. I'm Bellamy. Hopping around, showing you all the fancy moves. Luffy's just dodging. He's not even throwing a punch yet. And then while this is all happening, Bellamy's still talking trash, still making it worse and worse and worse and worse. And he's a spring hopper. I'm not gonna lie, spring hopper looked kind of raw. I'm not gonna lie. I was looking at it, I was like, yo, this, I hate him, but his move kind of.
Yeah, it is. It's nice.
It's kind of crispy. Mm-hmm. And at this point, did Luffy say something before he hit Bellamy? Didn't he like, you talk too much?
From what I could recall, I think it was straight up just bah. But I have the chapter right here.
Go ahead, preach the gospel.
Yeah. Let me go right up to the chapter, the legendary 100 million. Oh. Just keeps laughing. Oh, he says, you want to see me land a punch. How raw can you be, bro?
Son.
Luffy says, you want to see me land a punch.
You want to see me? He's like, oh, so you really want to see these hands? Is that it? You want to see it? He waited for him. He asked him the question. He was polite about it. And they're all laughing in the back. Everyone's laughing in the back. And you'll walk me through your feelings from the cricket moment to the Luffy, can I see a punch, to the punch, and then the aftermath. Walk me through that.
I think, just going back to what I was saying earlier, Oda does such a great job of making us feel for certain characters, whether it be in a sad way, whether it be in a euphoric punch. He's so good with that, looking back to my classic examples are in Drum Island. Luffy's just in the manga, and the anime is a little different, but in the manga, he's about to punch Wapol, and we cut to Chopper's backstory. Make us feel everything about this dude, about Wapol, about why we should hate this man, and when we cut back to the present after receiving the entire Hiddleston flashback, Luffy decks him in the face, and it's super, super satisfying. In Jaya, we have this moment. In Sabaody, we have, of course, the legendary punch to St. Charles, but they all come at what's surrounding them. What makes this moment so incredible is, once again, it is the entire arc building up to this moment. We just had a scenario where, what we were talking about with them at the bar, Luffy and Zoro not fighting back. We have him directly disrespecting not only Luffy, but his dreams as well, and the dreams of everyone else in the Power World too. We're talking the Emerald City, El Dorado, the One Piece. Anybody who believes in that stuff, this man is mocking each and every single last one of them. But it gets to the point to where he is directly mocking one of his individuals. And we know how far Luffy's willing to go for one of his people. We saw it in Arlong Park. We saw it in the fact that he was in the middle of a war in Alabasta. We saw what he did in Drum Island, carrying Nami and Sanji while going up a mountain with his bare hands. We know what this man is willing to do.
Yes,
for
that Nami
his
moment
friends.
is heavy. That's a heavy moment too.
It's such a heavy moment. And so when we get back to this, and we realize that Bellamy is, by doing this with his gold, he's actually disrespecting not only just Nolan's ancestors, he's disrespecting his daily routine and using it against them.
Yeah.
The fact that Nolan is doing all of this, it's kind of like, if we're doing a real life example here, and let's just use basketball for example. Let's say you practice, 50 dribbles, and then you go in for a fadeaway, you do like 50 fadeaways, whatever the case may be. It's like you're in the middle of a 40-second fadeaway, somebody comes in and smacks the flagnards out of it. You're just going for the fade, boom, bah! It's like, what you gonna do about it? You going for the 43rd one? Bah! 44th one? Bah! And it's like all you're trying to do is get your daily practice in, and someone is directly just trying to stop you from doing this. And so they're messing with your root. Now it's outside of just messing with your ancestors, they're messing with you personally. Now they're messing with what you're doing.
Yes.
But Cricket unfortunately doesn't have the physical strength to be able to go up against it. So what he can rely on though is the kink.
Yep. Because
when that man, like you said, when he gets into I'm not talking mode, it's go time. It is the absolute greatest of all time. So when we get to the moment itself, and like you said, Bellamy's just going all around. My favorite thing about this is, like you were hinting to earlier with the bounty poster, Blackbeard and him came to different conclusions based on what was stated. Like Bellamy laughed at him. Blackbeard was like, "There's no way you're only 30 million."
He said 30.
And
what?
He was like 30. There's no way.
No.
There's no way. So, but Bellamy, he was like 30. Man, you're trash. Like you're garbage. And I love the analogy you used in regards to having that to like follower count, subscriber count, because that is the unfortunate reality of the situation where there's a lot of people like Bellamy who only look at you in regards to that, right?
Yep.
But the most incredible thing about this moment, and I think it's one of the coolest bounty reveals ever, might be the coolest bounty reveal, is that to both Bellamy and the viewer, our first scene of seeing Luffy as the 100 million berry man after having taken out Crocodile. After him fighting Crocodile, somebody like Bellamy is fodder. You already know that in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
But seeing it in the moment where even his crewmates are just trembling, like, boss, like, yo, this is that dude, bro. Like 100 mil, and he just goes in, decks him, and I love how Luffy just nonchalantly is just like, yo, I'm going up to the sky. It's like, oh, where are you going? You already did all this, and he's just like, you all know where I'm going. My navigator already told you. We're going to the place that none of you believe in. I don't even know why you're asking me to begin with. I'm going up there. That's it. If you want to follow me, cool. But it is what it is. Y'all can't stop me. And to show y'all that y'all can't stop me, go ahead. Somebody try to stop me.
So
I dare anyone. I just took out your leader.
Who gonna check
me?
Who's
gonna check me? I'm going up to the place that y'all were laughing at me, and I didn't have to say a word. You came over here. Can I just throw one punch? Bah, I'm out of here, and I'm gonna go do what I set out to do to begin with. Didn't have to retort. Didn't have to do a single thing. If you wouldn't have messed with Cricket, you never would have messed with me. But now that you messed with my boy, you had to mess with me. And I love that about this scene so much, is that not only is it great for Luffy's character and showcasing where his values are, but even after doing something like that, his first instinct is just to go, yeah, man, we're going up there. Like we're going to the Sky Island. Like that's where I'm going next. And whoever doesn't like it, it is what it is. That's where I'm going.
There's something that's so lovely about defending your dream, because it's a full-on justification. It's still in line with your purpose. My purpose is to go to Sky Island, be the king of the pirates, protect my friends. These are things that I stand on, I live on. Yeah. So when someone challenges that, the course of action I can take, I feel no remorse. Zero. Luffy indented his fist into this man's skull. Literally. There's an actual draw. Oda took the time to draw. Show him the indent.
Let me get it.
Oda took the time to draw the indent of his fist on his skull. Then Oda took the time to show the blood of Bellamy dripping off his fist. That's not Luffy's blood we're looking at, chat.
Look at that.
Look at the detail. He even shaded the indent. He shaded it.
Insane.
And Luffy's like, all right, so the gold. And then I think it's Marquise was like, oh, it must have been a trick. It must have been a trick. Yeah. And then you see the newspapers come around. Then the drunk guy looks and he's like, whoa, wait a minute. Didn't he recount? He read it once. I'm like, nah, there's no way.
He was like, hold on.
Run it back. He's like, hold on, wait a minute. Let me read it back. 1 0 0 0. He said, yo, Marquise, look at this, bro. Come on, stop playing. They looked at it. Everybody was like, no, we gotta go. We're done. Take the gold. Yeah. We're done. We're not fighting them no more. Because then they realized what he did to Bellamy makes sense. You see, you were saying this before. They needed to see to believe it. Correct. They still didn't believe that this guy, who they would have been ridiculing all arc, had put Luffy into the ground. But it shows how stupid they are. That it took them to see 1 0 0 and then a bunch of other zeros right after that to be convinced, wait, it wasn't a trick. We were wrong. But you know what that proves? When you're doing what you're supposed to do and you're following your purpose and your dreams, it will speak for itself when it matters most. And when Luffy put that nigga in the ground and the bounties, I swear the Lord said, all right, now it's time to show him the bounty. It's time. So I add the extra message so they really see it.
Incredible.
They said it's the time. Now you're going to believe. Now you're going to leave him alone.
Now you're going to believe.
Bro,
that's right.
And my favorite part about this, Oda just knows how to please you, man. Because as they are going to Sky Island, Blackbeard sees the poster. Marquise tries to insult Blackbeard. Blackbeard choke slams him straight into the wall. I was like,
yo, pack him up.
No, he put him straight into the wood, bro. Finished him. He said, bro, who are you? Blackbeard didn't waste some time. Like, bro, shut up.
It's like, yo, while y'all are down here chirping, that man's out there moving.
He's out here moving. He's like, dude. Oh my God, bro. People don't talk about that moment enough. Blackbeard literally put him into the dirt. And that must be his signature move, because he did the same thing to Luffy as well. Yeah. Like, bro, that choke slam is violent.
It is violent.
Dog, I never want to get choked by. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Like, I think some people don't understand Blackbeard's physical strength, because when he chopped Ace in the neck, Ace was like, yo, that almost broke my neck. Yeah. I almost died.
Yeah.
This is Ace we're talking about.
Yeah.
Luffy, he's been hit with hockey before and it's hurt. When Blackbeard choke slammed Luffy, he screamed. And Crocodile was like, wait a minute. He never did that when I fought him. Like, wait a minute, yo.
He was like, yo, what's going on here?
What's going on here? I was like, blood. What? I thought he was made of rubber. How did that happen?
Bro, Crocodile was like, yo, he had to use my blood to hit me. Like, exactly. I was like, oh, what's going on? I never did that.
Yeah, it's like something's not right here. Something's not right. But it just goes to show Oda brought it full circle. They all got their just desserts, because at the end of the day, when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, it will always work out for you, because you're going to, it may not end the way you think it's going to end, but when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, things will always align. That's how it's supposed to work. That's what having a purpose, dreams, that's what it's all about. Like I said, it may not end the way you think it's going to end, but when you're doing and you're following your purpose, things will line up for you. That's how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to do it correctly. So with Blackbeard, he's following his purpose in a sense, I guess, but the way he's going about it is going to lead to consequences that he's not going to expect, which is why actions always have consequences in this case. And that's a discussion for another time, which is why you should do things the right way.
I actually wanted to add on to that, because that's a fantastic point. And going first with how Oda has explored within the story, and then a real life example after that. But going to what you were saying in regards to going after your purpose, and sometimes it may not be the way you expected it to be in the end. And I believe that there's no greater example of that than within One Piece itself, where Oda, through the serendipitous nature of his writing, has created some of the most iconic moments in the entire series, and none of them were planned out. It just happened in the spur of the moment because he was following his purpose in creating this story. right? So we think about moments like the Nakama scene with Vivi, Shanks showing up at Marineford, the supernova showing up at Sabaody. These are moments that were not planned, but they fit with everything around it because Oda listened to his intuition and said, "I'm not gonna stay to this one line of thinking, to where it's gonna take me to the very end. No, I'm open to these new ideas, these new things that'll come to mind because during that week." This could be the thing that could take me to what will propel the story to the next level. And it's being open-minded in that regard, in regards to your purpose. As long as you stay within that line, but you're open to all the detours. Shout out to my boy Jing Freaks.
Absolutely.
As long as you're open to the detours that life is going to give to you, that will still lead you to the destination at the very end. In a similar, not in a similar, but taking a real life example of that for me and my writing journey, is I've noticed whenever I go into it with an idea, but then what I've written came out to be much grander than I could have ever imagined. Those are the moments that to me are the ones worth going after, right? Not necessarily. It's always great whenever you get to realize your vision and what's in your mind and seeing it on the page, but you can definitely relate to this as a content creator. Sometimes we'll make some videos. We'll have some videos in mind, like some skits, right? We'll write them down. We'll start thinking about certain ideas, but whenever we record them, we're like, man, that's much different than we had it in mind. But it came out better.
Every time.
You know what I mean?
Literally,
it came out much
every
better.
time. Yeah.
So it's one of those things to where as long as we stay within that line, but we're not afraid to go around, as long as you still stay on course with the purpose, it's the same thing with anything. It's like you just have to continue to be open-minded to the fact that maybe what you're feeling at this point in time, whether like using the One Piece example again, maybe Oda that week of, he was like, man, like for the rest of the supernovas, for like Bonnie and Beige, maybe he didn't at the time have the idea, but he was like, these are just cool characters that my intuition is letting me know we're gonna create these characters this week, right? And it ended up being one of the most important things for the entire series. Can you imagine Marineford without Shanks showing up in Marineford?
I can.
Like it's just one of those things to where it wasn't planned, but it happened and ended up being way better than even Oda himself anticipated.
Yep.
And that very same way, I believe, is for our purposes, where we'll go in thinking of doing one thing one day, and we'll come out of it doing something completely different that was way better for us at the end.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And that's something I've had to really internalize as well, that I have this idea of what my purpose is going to be. And I do believe it's in a medium of, discussion and my voice being part of something. I've got to that point, and relating to people. That's kind of just, it's funny because YouTube has given me the platform to know how I like to communicate with others. And I'm an entertainer in a sense, but I'm also more than an entertainer. I'm also someone that can cut the entertainment and actually have a real conversation, and that's like the hallmark of my content. Now I'm trying to refine it, we're trying to reduce the cursing and the slanderous nature. Like I can do that from time to time. Sometimes it's funny, but at the same time I'm slowly starting to realize like sometimes you may not have a bad opinion, but you can dial it down a little bit. So we're working on it, Chad. I posted some kid slander, but we'll let that one go. But I'm realizing that this YouTube journey that I've been going, I've been wondering where it's taking me, because I know One Piece is not going to stay around forever. There's a lot of anime series that I enjoy, but it just doesn't seem like this is something I'm going to do for a very, very long time. But the journey and the path it took me to has let me know I can do things like this, whatever realm this is going to take me to, whether it's going to be an entertainment industry, whether it's going to be public speaking, whatever it is. I know I have the capability and the blessing to do so. How it's going to be done, that's up to God to show me when it's going to happen. That's really what it is. So, to coincide with everything you said and to coincide with the point that we're at, purpose, dreams, goals, ambitions, these are things that will sustain you for your life. And these are things that also, and I'm surprised we missed this, but I don't think we did. I think we just haven't directly addressed it. It brings people around you of like-minded drive and purpose.
Yes.
Because if you look at how Luffy has gathered his crew, nobody in his crew does not have a purpose. For me, and when it comes to finding Miss JD Legend out there, wherever she is, I cannot be with somebody that does not have a purpose of their own and does not have dreams and ambitions to be something. Because it's a necessity, because I need someone who will also inspire me to continue on that purpose and that ambition. I'm sure it's the same for you, and it's not just the Miss JD Legend. It's also my friends. It's the content creators I choose to associate with. Par Vision, for example. When I see Par and I see the way he's passionate about people, he's passionate about morality, he's passionate about his family, he's passionate about his content. This guy has a purpose. It's very clear to see. I want to be around people like that, which is why I collab with him so much, why he's such a blessing to the community that we've had, because people like that are pure-hearted. When you look at people like Roger, look what he's done. Look what Roger has done with anime YouTube. Roger has opened up possibilities for people in the anime community and the YouTube anime that people do not give him the credit for.
Not at all.
They don't. Look what Roger has opened up for people. Partnerships with Nintendo, talking to Toei, Oda himself, Library of Horror. Look what Arthur has done. Look what these guys have set forth. Look at, you said rest in peace, Attica. Look what these guys have done by following their purpose.
100%.
And it's about the people you surround yourself by, because those people will sustain you. And if we go to Sabaody, I don't want to get into that because that's another episode. But look, when Luffy was at his weakest and he was lost, who were the people that reminded him of his purpose? Oh my God, I still have Frankie, Robin, Usopp, Luffy, all of them. It's the people around you that help you sustain. It's the relationships that you build that keep pushing you forward, because you can't do it on your own. Cricket couldn't do it on his own, because you get to Skypiea, we're skipping far ahead. Luffy, Recon, this might be one of the most beautiful moments in the story. Luffy rings that damn bell, bro. Oh, son, yo.
Peak fiction, all right?
Oh my God, yo. And Cricket looks up and he sees Luffy in the air. I'm like, oh no, that's it.
Bro, and he's like, yo, so you found it, kid. Like, yo, great stuff, man. Thank you. He found it.
And he's so nonchalant. Like, oh, he found it. That's great. His whole purpose was made true right before his very eyes. He saw it with his own two eyes. Nolan, you didn't lie. My ancestors, you suffered for nothing. It's real. Everything is real. My whole life's work. I did all that diving. Every day I went underwater. It was for something.
It was for something. Yeah, it's so beautiful. So beautiful.
That's it. I think that scene in itself is so underestimated in the story. And oh my God, I have to say this. If you skip Skypiea, shame on you. Shame on you.
That's for sure.
Shame on you for skipping Skypiea. Oh my God. For sure, that moment is so beautiful, man.
I can't even imagine, for Jaya and Skypiea in particular, I can't imagine like going through One Piece and not having experienced it. I know that the anime, especially for Skypiea, that's whenever the dragging really started showing itself at certain points. But even then, as someone who went through that arc in the anime for the first time, obviously its manga counterpart is far superior. But even the anime, man, has some legendary stuff take place in that Skypiea arc, and it is without question One Piece. Like we talked about it earlier. You said it earlier in a magnificent way for Jaya representing One Piece. And I couldn't agree more with that statement, because I believe the whole saga represents One Piece to the point to where I believe that entire conflict that took place with Luffy versus NL and the final attack, that may as well be what's going to happen at the end of the series.
It might as well.
Like it's just Skypiea to me represents everything, and the more the callbacks we move back to it, the more we all understand, and not just how important it is, but how integral it is to the One Piece experience. So for anybody who's watching this video, if you have not, I don't know how you're watching this and haven't watched Jaya at the very least, but if you're watching this video and you have not seen Skypiea, do yourself a favor and read one of the greatest arcs in the series, man. Please.
So good, man.
Please.
So underrated. You know what's crazy? I've watched Skypiea, but I've never read Skypiea. Isn't that wild?
That is wild.
I've read Jaya, but I have not read Skypiea. But it's
Dude, you should, man.
So the reason I'm so attached to Skypiea the anime,
I can see that
because it's honestly one of the funniest arcs in the series.
Yeah.
And the emotions I get from the anime, like Usopp, I think when what's it called? When Usopp got I think he got knocked over by NL. I think he tried to dodge NL, and he was like doing all the little shapes and hitting the form, and then the Usopp paper cut. He's like, oh, I was like, I'm just like, it's those small isolated moments. So I'm like, yo, the anime of Skypiea is such a special place for me that I only want to remember the anime, even though I know the manga is beautiful as well. Like it's just
trust me, I understand.
It's special, man. Like Skypiea, Thriller Bark. Like people say, like, you know, when people talk about One Piece, it's also about the comedy. When I think about the comedy, I think about Thriller Bark, and I think about Skypiea, and I think about the anime, because the anime takes the comedy and amplifies it by like 2,000, bro. Like,
dude, One Piece, those two you stated, Thriller Bark is one of the funniest. Davy Backfight and Impel Down with Buggy, Mr. 3, and Luffy. That might be like the funniest trio.
Just absolute rats, dude.
They're insane.
Even the what's it called? Is it what were they called again? The little lion things? Were they weren't not Cerberus? What is it? The Manticores? The giant manticores, and he's just saying like broths from soups, like Gormim and all that stuff, bro. I was laughing like crazy, bro. Bro, it's like miso soup and smacking everything. I'm like, yo, what is this? What is this, bro? Just
straight comedy.
Dog, man, comedy, just so good. And you know, it's funny because I feel like I might have to do an Impel Down episode, but I don't know. I might have to rewatch Impel Down, but Impel Down, I think that whole stretch from Skypiea, basically from Jaya, Skypiea forward, that stretch is just legendary.
It is legendary.
This legendary stretch. Like, because you go to Water 7, you go to Ennis Lobby, and you're just jumping from peak to peak to peak to peak. Over and over and over again. And I guess Thriller Bark, people would say Thriller Bark might be the one down period, and I understand
even that is great.
Even that is great, depending on what you're looking at. And for me, what I remember of Thriller Bark the most is the humor was so funny to me. That's what kept me going, because I didn't like Absalom, so that's fine. I didn't like Absalom. Moria was interesting. I thought Usopp's arc was interesting. I thought Brook's story was really, really sad. But it's post Moria where things get really heavy. Like really, really heavy. That Kuma, Sanji, I'm just like, bro, wow. For Kuma's appearance, son, there's just a lot going on, man.
That arc, for me, I think is the one I've changed my opinion on the most, because I remember when I first caught up, it was one of my least favorites.
Yes.
And over the years, I've come to appreciate it so much. And I think it was middle of last year, I did another reread of the arc, because I was at the time I was researching a lot of horror-based cinema for school, and I was like, you know what, let me just reread Thriller Bark, because Oda was paying homage to all of his favorite horror-based stuff there, with like Frankenstein and all the monster stuff. Literally everything is based on that within the arc. And I remember just reading through it, and I was like, man, this arc is really genius. I mean, basing it on the fact that the weak trio are the ones who have to take care of everything. So from the beginning of the arc, we understand that the battles are going to be given to Nami, Chopper, and Usopp, which is very different compared to the other arcs. And this is also our first arc with Frankie, and even with that, it's still a massive threat because our shadows are being taken.
Yes.
And it's like all of these different elements at play. Like you said, the comedy is, I might be second to none. The arc is so funny that to this day we still have like the Luffy pushing the zombie back to the ground stuff, you know, like
stitches, bro. I was screaming, bro. I'm like, yo, he really, it's the pause. It's the how long he waits, and he's like,
he's just like,
no, let me just slide you back down in there. Like, you shouldn't be here. He's like, what would you?
It's crazy, man. It's such a good arc. It's such a good arc. It only gets better with time, obviously, with context. Us looking back, I know when we find out more about Oars, we're going to be looking at the arc completely differently. But even as a standalone experience, I do believe that it is severely, severely underrated. Not just as a as like I said, with something with context, but by itself, there's a lot of great stuff going for that arc, and it might have like a top 5, like you said earlier, post villain defeat stuff.
Oh my goodness!
Because dude, Kuma showing up, Brooks' entire backstory. All of that happening back to back to back, that's some of the best stuff in the series, and it happens at the end of the arc.
Yep.
So it's just it's nothing happened.
Brooks saying, "I'm so glad I'm alive." How do you not cry? How do you not cry at that moment? Because he stopped playing. And he's like, "I'm so glad I'm alive." Oh my God! 50 years of loneliness.
50 years of loneliness, and this one moment with meeting your crew is like, I'm so glad I made it to this moment. That honestly gives like anyone a bit of like relief, right? We're like, man, if he can make it to that point, I can too. Like it's the same thing with Robin. It's like going through all of life's hardships, and then eventually, at the end of the tunnel, there is going to be a light. To get that message in back-to-back arcs was such a beautiful thing, and in different ways as well. With both Robin and Brooke's stories, it's just phenomenal stuff. Damn. I love that arc.
Oh my goodness, man! I'm just thinking about it now. Because I argued with someone else, like, what do you think is the saddest backstory in One Piece? And we got the top 3 that we came out with were Robin's, Law's, and Brooks, right?
Okay.
And I thought it was Law's, and I'm actually going to do a series. So one of the episodes I have planned is Love and Empathy with Law and Corazon. That one's going to hit hard.
That's going to be peak.
That's going to hit hard, man.
That's going to hit really hard, man.
Because I might cry during that episode. That's hard, bro, because when I think about what Law went through, bro, that is like unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
That everybody massacred before your eyes, to the fact that you have to hide under their dead bodies to survive, and then you find out you get cancer.
Yeah, man.
I'm just like, what?
Dude, and it's everything Kora-san does to ensure that he still remains good, bro. Like, what a real one. There's a reason why Kora-san was only in the series for a short period of time and was still, I believe, was 13th in the popularity poll.
Yes, of course.
He's just that legendary. Like that's a powerful backstory. Yeah. That is I remember when that one was coming out weekly in the community, even at the time, because we know the weekly experience is much different and there's always like a mixed reception. Even that one, and I recall, I believe it's like in the middle of the backstory, Naruto ended. Yeah. So Oda did the whole Akatsuki homage and everything. But even in the midst of all of that, that part of the series is so special to so many people because the story just connects. And don't even get me started on the anime adaptation of that flipping flashback, man. Have you seen the anime adaptation of Flashback?
Which flashback?
For the Law and Corazon flashback?
Yeah,
the anime adaptation.
Of course,
dude,
of course,
dude,
of course.
It's a beautiful stuff, man.
It hurt me because when they're walking away, when Law's walking away, and you see him crying, but there's nothing coming out because Corazon is hanging on to his life to make sure this little boy that he loves escapes. And then you hear Law crying, so that's when you know he dies. I'm like,
Just pain, bro. It's classic Oda.
Can't take it, bro. It's masterful. It's masterful, bro. It's masterful, bro. Like, just I'm about to say, that's why for me, Law, bro, my man dedicated his life to say, Dofi, no matter what, I will kill you. No matter what, I'm killing you, bro.
No matter what.
I will challenge Kaido just to kill you, dog. Yo.
Dude, Doflamingo and Law, like their interactions, they might have like a top 5 dynamic in the whole series, just on those two, because it's so good. That's another series you could honestly do, is on Law and Doflamingo, because those two characters, it's just that entire arc not only revolves around them, and that's the reason why Dressrosa is so brilliant, but like you said, it's moments like that where Law, like, no matter what, I will chase you down to the ends of the earth, bro. Like, you don't understand, dog.
But that's it. My plan is to kill Doflamingo. That's my purpose. Everything that I'm doing up to
everything I do
is to kill this man.
That's it.
That's it, bro. I want him dead. And what makes it worse is that when he finally got the chance to fight him, Doflamingo toyed with him, cut his arm off. I'm like, Dofi, stop it.
Bro, I'll never forget the week of that chapter drop, bro. When Dofi cut off his arm and then proceeded to shoot him afterwards,
Shoot him
bro.
multiple times. I'm like, yo, Oda, what? I was like, Oda, you get real dark. That's evil. And
By the way,
arm.
that is one of the most legendary stretches of chapters in the whole series, because that chapter is followed by Big Mom showing up at Dressrosa, with Sanji going and openly declaring a counterattack against Big Mom. And then that chapter was followed up by the Saba
reveal, bro.
Those were saying, three back-to-back weeks of peak, man.
Bro, just Hall of Fame performances, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I'm telling you, that was like the 3-1. That was a 2016 coming back from 3-1 down. Like, that's what Oda was like, oh, y'all thought we were down? No, just wait. Just wait till I got for you. It was first, it was like the Dofi was the Kyrie performance, then the LeBron 41, Kyrie 41, then that's it, bro. Game 7. Iguodala blocked by James. It's over, dog. Sabo's alive. Blocked by James.
Sabo's alive. That's the block. Go home.
That's the block.
That's it.
Oh my goodness, bro.
Oh, man.
So good, man. I would love to keep going, man, but we are at that 2-hour mark. The Lakers are playing, so I want to give everybody time to pay attention to the game as well, see what's going on. Hopefully he breaks the record. But Recon, this is everything I thought it would be and more.
Same here, man.
Do you what are your final thoughts? Jaya, purpose, anything that you want to share with the chat, any plugs, anything. Go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
Like I said, well, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me, bro. Like, I'll never forget how I felt whenever I saw the message and you said, dude, it's gonna be on Jaya whenever we do this, and I couldn't even tell you the amount of excitement I had in my heart, man. So thank you for having me on. Like you said, the feeling is mutual. This was also much more than I could have ever imagined. And to the chat, thank you, of course, so much for being here. And my final words would be just find whatever this arc is to me and Jay. Find that for you. Find I'm very big on story and in the way that it impacts individuals. And whether One Piece is the series for you or not, that's not really the important part of the conversation. For me, it's find whatever One Piece is to you. Because obviously One Piece has led Jay and I down a lot of different and wonderful opportunities and paths, and to meet a bunch of amazing people and to go in our own paths and routes and stuff. I would just recommend each and every single person out there to find whatever that is for them. Whether it's something like a One Piece, whether it's something spiritual, whatever it is that allows you to find your purpose and get to where it is that deep within your soul you need to be. Find that thing, man. Keep searching. Don't ever stop searching for the thing that's going to take you to the next level, because I guarantee you, when it comes down to the time, like Jay was talking about earlier, and it's not our time yet, but one day our time is going to come. And if you found that thing that is going to allow you to live your life to the fullest, which most of the time it is your purpose, I don't know what it feels like, obviously, because the time has not come yet. But I imagine that when the time comes, I wake up each and every single day chasing every goal, every dream, everything that I have, because when I look back on it, when I'm on my deathbed, I want to say I gave it my all. Just like Blackbeard is probably going to say at the very end of like, I gave it my all. Whether I succeeded or not, it's not up to me. It's like how Luffy said back in Loketown. If I die right now, at least I tried. And that's something that I've always taken with me, where I know for a fact that each and every single day I give my 150% to accomplish what I set out to accomplish. Whether it happens or not, that's up for God or fate or destiny to do themselves. But I am going to do my part, and I'm going to try my hardest, because I know this is what I was meant to do. And so whatever that is for you, please go out and find it. And a massive thank you to Jay for having me on for this magnificent episode talking about the One Piece arc, because there are arcs that are arguably better. There are arcs that are most certainly could have higher peaks and higher highs and more legendary moments. It's not even my favorite arc in the series, but by the Flagnards, this arc is One. This arc is One.
This arc is One Piece.
And so, thank you very much for having me on, brother, and I hope everybody in the chat has a wonderful night. King James, baby. Let's go.
Could not have said it better myself. This is why we call him Coach. He's always inspiring you to be better and to always drop 40 no matter what, but drop 40 for the right team and the right purpose, everybody. And just to second that as well, guys, you know, finding your purpose is a lifelong journey.
That's right.
And it's revealed in small increments and pieces. You never just figure out your purpose magically out of nowhere. Sometimes you have dreams and that ends up being your purpose. But work at it every day. Try things, see what fits, see what seems right, and keep going down that path because you will find it. Don't let people steer you off a path because they feel like they know what's better. They may mean well, but do what you know and feel is right within your soul, because you will feel it and you know it. And when you feel it, don't ignore it. Don't ignore it. Do not let people steer you away with a common trend, what everyone else is doing. We just talked about that today. Don't let them do that to you, because I promise you, you will regret it, because you'll know that moment and you'll regret that you ignored it. There's so many people I've known that have done that in their life. Man, I wish I could take that back. Don't be that person. You still got time. It doesn't matter if you're 15, 20, 30, 35, 40. Doesn't matter what time you're at. The purpose is for a lifetime. There's people that find their purpose at 50 and live a great life. But make sure you're on the path to find that purpose, and make sure that's your number one focus. To men, women, whatever you identify as, that is what's most important. Finding that purpose, because that is what will carry you in life. It is not the money, it's not cars, it's not men and women, it's not significant others. Those people won't fulfill you. They will not sustain you. No matter how much you think they will, they won't sustain you. Some people's purpose is taking care of their family. That's nothing wrong with that purpose.
Beautiful purpose.
Those are the happiest people in the world. The people that work every day, 9 to 5, go home, see their beautiful kids, know that their wife is taken care of, the kids are taken care of, the kids are going to college. That is a purpose. That is admirable. And you die happy knowing that you see your next generation, they're taken care of. There's nothing more beautiful than that. So trust me, your purpose, it could be right around the corner, and you might miss it. Don't miss it. I appreciate everybody in the chat. Shout out to Bear M with the $5. The Saint and Coach together. We love to see y'all cook. Y'all cook. Appreciate you. And then the black man who laughs. I love that name. Blackbeard is the manifestation of the world's consequences. Absolute tyranny results in Blackbeard's existence, while absolute freedom also results in Blackbeard's. That is a bar. Well said. The black man who laughs.
That's very well said.
He cooked. What a donation.
Yeah,
I appreciate you. He really did. Yeah. Thanks for the donation. Appreciate everyone that came through to watch. Thank you, Parvision, again, for this lovely background again. At this point, One Piece is Real might be sponsored by Parvision Industries. We'll figure out that one later. But again, thank you so much. Recon, thank you so much. I will catch you guys on the next episode of One Piece is Real. Until next time, LeBron out, Recon out, Jay out. Peace.
Have a good one, y'all.